What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time here. Well, guys, it is about 12:30 right now when I'm making this video, and already it's been a very exciting morning, and not exciting in a good sort of way, but exciting in the bad sort of way. Two things happened to me today that got my blood pressure up just a little bit. One, I was in an automobile accident a few minutes ago, and this morning when I first got up, I came down to my office here and was looking at some emails and things. I heard a dog bark, and so I knew it was down here where my chicken coop is. So I came out the back door here to see what was going on. There were two dogs down there. One black and white pit bull was up on top of the chicken coop, up there on top of the run area. It was on top of the wire trying to figure out how to get in there. And a black dog, a large black dog, was running around the outside trying to figure out how to get into the chicken coop. And they actually went almost through the backside where I have that white lattice on the backside. They managed to rip a portion of that out and was working their way into the chicken coop. I was up here, I came around the corner of the house and I hollered to try to run those dogs off, and they wouldn't leave. So they won't be bothering anyone else's livestock, anyone else's birds, flock any longer. So that problem's been taken care of, thankfully. So, but if I hadn't have been here, or I hadn't heard what was going on down there, I hadn't have checked, you know what, I had a whole flock of dead chickens right there in the pen, because people don't want to put their dogs up. They want to let their dogs run out, run free, and get into people's garbage, get into people's cattle, get into people's chicken coops and things like that, and cause all kinds of damage. And when it causes damage, you know, no one wants to claim the dog. They want to say, it's not mine, because there's no collar, there's not no name tags or anything like that on those dogs. They want to bring them home, turn them loose, and let them roam. And dogs in packs want to hunt, and they want to kill, especially in packs. You know, some dogs on their own will do that also. However, when you have two or more dogs, they run in packs, and they're more likely to get into trouble like those did this morning. But if I hadn't have been here, you know, they'd have ripped their way through that wire finally. So they were working on it, and they would have got in there, and they would have killed, most likely, all of my chickens down there. So thankfully I was here, and thankfully I paid attention and put a stop to it before it got completely out of hand. And after that, I had to run some errands, so I went out the road to run those errands before the snow comes. We're supposed to get, like I said yesterday, a decent sized snow here, some ice and things, so I went out to take care of some errands this morning, and was doing that, and I actually stopped at the grocery store on my way down. And I went in, got a couple of things, and I came out, got in the truck, and backed out of the parking lot, or started to back out of the parking lot. And I heard, and I pulled back up and I looked, and behind me was a Nissan that I backed into, that Nissan Altima, and her headlight on the passenger side was demolished. My truck here, as you can see, there's what I got on my truck, was that right there. So really nothing major on my truck, but it knocked the headlight completely out of that Nissan Altima. Luckily, you know, I have full coverage insurance on the truck here, and luckily no one was hurt. And the thing about it is, I always pay attention. I always look. I look in that mirror, I look in this mirror, I look in the rear view mirror, I look through the back glass. Always before I back up. I looked. Didn't see anything. Didn't see a car behind me whatsoever. So I put it in reverse, and I just eased out and was turning, you know, going out and turning to come out of the parking lot to get turned around to go out and down the highway. And I heard that crunching sound, and I said, well, crap. So I pulled back up, got out and looked, and I waited there for about 5 minutes or so to wait for the person that was driving the car to come out, so I didn't know who drove the car in there. And so I waited there 5 or 10 minutes, I guess it was, and no one ever came out to the vehicle. So I went in there, a bunch of people in there. It's a small country store, but there was still probably 25 or 30 people in the store, so I had no idea whose car that it was. So I went back out to the truck, and I called the sheriff department, and they came up, and the sheriff department arrived there before, you know, she came out of the store. So it was a lady probably in her mid to late 60s that came out. She was really nice. She said she was thankful that I was honest and didn't just take off and leave. And so everything will be all right. My insurance will probably go up. I'll probably lose my deductible, but things happen, you know. When you think you're paying attention and apparently you wasn't, and accidents, it happens. No, I'm 49 years old right now, and that is the first accident that I've ever had. I've been in accidents before, but I wasn't driving. I've been in a school bus crash before, one time back when I was a kid. And another crash when my mom hit a tree one time driving, and I was in the car with her. And let's see, there was another one that I was about 14 years old, probably, and we were waiting. I was in the back seat, my brother's in the back seat, my mom was driving, my dad was on the passenger side. We were waiting there to turn off into another grocery store. And a car came through and wasn't paying any attention to what was going on and crammed our car in the rear end. But never have been really hurt in the accident. When my mom hit that tree that one time, my chin hit the dash, and the old car was one of the cars had the metal dash in those cars, and it kind of scratched my chin up a little bit. But other than that, I wasn't hurt. This morning, no one was hurt, luckily. However, I had to sit there and wait, had to get the police to come up there, had to take reports and things, had to give them my insurance, my driver's license, and had everything called in on the police scanners, so everyone in town here heard what had happened. It was it'd be a 1046, I think it is, which is an accident without injuries. Anyway, that's been my day so far. Hopefully, nothing else exciting will happen today. I'm home, I'm here to stay for most likely about 4 days here because the snow is coming. It's raining right now, you can probably hear. And that rain is supposed to turn into sleet, ice, and then snow on top of that. So most likely, electricity will probably go out here because usually when we have ice, it gets on the power lines and it weights those down and causes electricity to go out. Hopefully it does it, but if it does, I'm prepared for that. No big issue, no big deal, and nothing really to worry about. However, if that happens, I might not be uploading videos for a couple of days, so you'll know. I'm going to get this video here uploaded just in a few minutes here and I'll go back in the house. But I thought I'd give you all an update on what happened today. First thing this morning, crazy predators, domestic dogs turned predator, was working their way into my chicken coop and into my flock. And it caused me a lot of trouble, a lot of aggravation to kill all those chickens because I got money in those, time in those, and it takes time, to raise those up from the little chicks to get those to where they'll lay. And they're difficult to find, full grown ones already laying because people keep those. So I have to start over again. And I want to start over again right now. These down here were just bought this past spring, this last spring of 2021. And they've been laying now for about 3 months. Right now they're laying really good. And if those dogs had gotten in there, and they would have made a mess out of that flock. And I have, I think, 16 in there altogether, counting 2 roosters, and they would have made a mess, and I would have been out, a whole flock of chickens. So luckily, I caught that before it got out of hand, before they got into that coop. It's well made, it's strong, but they were working their way in. They even went through, the back lattice part there. And like I said in that video the other day, I talked about chickens. Well, I got that lattice on the side and on the back. I put it like that because I knew that that's where predators would feel more comfortable and try to get in. So I made that the strongest place up there. But that one pit bull was all completely on top of that run area, trying to get through the top. They were determined to get in there. People need to keep their dogs up. Unfortunately, around here, people love to leave their dogs out. They'll have no collar on those dogs with no name on it or anything like that because they don't want responsibility when those dogs gets out and kills people's cattle, kills people's horses, kills people's chickens, kills other people's dogs. My neighbor over here, these same dogs, killed his house dog. The house dog was outside, and they killed the house dog before he could do anything about it, and they were gone. They're predators is what they are. So they killed his house dog, he told me about here a while back. That's why I take my small dog outside here. I always go outside with her right here. That's the same dogs, if you all remember. I was making a video that one day, and Rusty, when Rusty was still alive, went after those dogs, and the fight was on. He did pretty good. There was 3 dogs then. Today there was just 2. So one of the dogs might have been shot by a neighbor in here or something, because there was 3, and now there's just 2. Or were just 2. Anyway, guys, dogs like that that's loose, that are predatory, if you have a small child outside, 4 or 5 years old out playing, they might attack that child or something like that. People need to control their animals. It's one thing about Rusty, he always stayed around here. I went and talked to my neighbor, and asked my neighbor over there if him coming over that way a little bit, and he did sometimes, bothered him any or anything. And Rusty, he wouldn't bite or anything. Like, he would bark at people, so he would watch dog, but he wouldn't bite. He would go over there, and I asked the neighbor, I said, if he bothers anything, if he does anything out of the way, if he causes you any problems at all, let me know, and I will put him up. I will get one of those collars put on him or something to keep him over here on my property all the time. But he never went far. He just stayed right here, or maybe just a little bit over there in the neighbor's backyard or something, looking around. But he was a good dog, didn't really bother anything. And the neighbor said he didn't bother him any at all, so everything was good. But some people turn dogs loose that are just predators, vicious dogs, and they're a threat, to grown people and especially children. They can be a threat to animals. There's across the field over here, there's a farm over here across the road, and no one lives over there. Actually, they just work at that farm over there, and they have a bunch of horses and mules over there. So those dogs can cause problems over there. They have some chickens over there too. The neighbor up the road here has chickens. I have chickens. People turn their dogs loose, let them go, and no respect whatsoever for their neighbors. And they don't want to take responsibility whatsoever. It's like when I backed into that Nissan a few minutes ago. That lady said, she said, I am so glad that you aren't like most people. Because she said most people would have backed in like that and had that crash like that, and they would have left. But I stayed, I waited and waited and waited. I even called the police to come up there and write the report up. But anyways, guys, if you haven't done so already, then please go down the links below and buy my book, The Prepper's Guide to Surviving in World Know It, Gear, Skills, and Related Know-How. Thanks for watching. I'm the Creekmore Miner here, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.